came out strong because, y'all, it is like, seminar is right around the corner. We have 3 months until seminar, so this is like the countdown. You are in the end zone. You're within like the 20-yard line, okay? Like the finish line is so in sight. And so I wanted just to talk to you guys a little bit about goals, okay? So first off, before I started Mary Kay, I've never actually made a goal before, like tangibly in my life. So like, I went to college and I was, doing classes and I competed in horses and stuff like that, and I was like, yeah, I want this, but I never cognitively said, this is my goal, this is where I will be, this is what I will achieve, before I started in Mary Kay. And so that was a process of like, what does a goal in Mary Kay look like? How can I create that goal? That kind of thing. So I will say that it is, and I have learned that it is incredibly important to have goals, okay? So just a question, how many of you guys drive around aimlessly, like with no particular destination in mind? Like how many of you guys do that on a daily basis? Never. Like you're getting somewhere, right? And also what is happening? Like if you went back to high school and you just were going on cruises, like around the town just for the heck of it, like what happens during that time? Nothing happens. You waste that time. You waste that time. You waste gas. Like all this resources and different things that you have at your disposal is wasted because you're just cruising around, right? With no particular place in mind. Now, as grown-ups, we generally are getting somewhere. We're headed in a particular direction, and we arrive because we know the path on which to follow to get there, correct? We generally also arrive on time because we know what time we're supposed to be at that place that we're going to, right? Yeah. And we leave and follow the, current and the traffic and all that kind of stuff, knowing how long it's going to take us to get there. Does that make sense? And we arrive at the time that is necessary for us to do it. But it's because we had a destination, correct? Yeah. Our Mary Kay business is no different. If you're cruising around, what's happening? You're probably feeling what's happening, right? You're like, nothing is happening, actually. And you're wasting that gas. You're wasting that motivation. You're wasting those different things that you have within you, and that drive to get somewhere because you don't have that goal. You don't have that end vision of where you're trying to get to. So goals are so important. If you've never made them before, if you only kind of half-heartedly have been making some goals in Mary Kay, let me just tell you, take them seriously. Take yourself seriously in that so that you get where you're trying to go. So it is so, so, so important. So goals determine where you end up, right? So that not only in cars, but in Mary Kay, okay? And not only do they determine where you end up, but they give us a picture of what our activity needs to look like in order to get there. Like, if I'm needing to get here to Huntsville, I'm not going to walk. I'm going to drive, If I needed to get here to Texas, I'm not going to, I might drive, but it's going to be quicker if I fly. So that's determining what kind of activity that I need to do to get there. So if I want to be a red jacket by this time, like this is what the activity that I need to do to get there. So now you're no longer aimless, like a facial here, a facial there, this kind of that. You know how many people that you need to see, and so you achieve that each day, each week, each moment. You make that happen. Does that make sense? And so it kind of gives you that picture of what your activity is supposed to look like. Does that make sense? So if we have a goal, we figure out what we need to do with our time in the meantime in order to get there. Does that make sense? So I know for me, I say, okay, this is the amount of wholesale that I want to have at the end of the month. What does that break down to? How many faces then do I need to see? Average of $100. So like I start with my end goal, and then I go, okay, break that down one step. Okay, break that down one more step. Okay, break that down one more step until all I'm looking at is the activity that I need to do in this day. Does that make sense? Yeah. In this day. And I know because I've broken it down from the big goal to the tiny goal that if I do what I'm supposed to do in this day, then the ultimate goal will happen. Does that make sense? Because I feel like a lot of times we shy away from making goals because we're like, this is huge, how am I going to get there? And it's like this huge thing looming over your head. But if you can take that, break it down into tiny goals that you're completing this day, that overarching goal, that large goal, just kind of sits in the back of your mind. You can know that it's going to happen because you're completing the activity that's necessary for today. Does that make sense? And so So my other thing is I feel like it's really helpful to a lot of times because we get so focused on everything in Mary Kay that we forget how Mary Kay relates to life, you know? So y'all know who Maria Sharapova is? Like super famous ice dancer, okay? Like major, like Olympian, like in the Hall of Fame, gold medalist, like amazing. So do you think that Maria Sharapova just became an Olympic icon? No, that was probably like her goal, right? And so she had that goal to become it. She had that single-minded drive. She did what she needed to do in the everyday in order to have and reach and attain that overarching goal of becoming an Olympic icon. Does that make sense? So how many of you have never made a goal because you were afraid of what would happen if you failed? Can anybody relate to that? I know I can. Okay. So what I didn't realize was that I was already failing because I never made the goal. I wasn't getting anywhere. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So make the goal. And I realized that I was already failing because I never made a goal. So instead of starting at the starting line and like going around the track lines and making it to the finish line, I just started kind of like, if you imagine a high school track, you know, there's a track and there's a football field in the middle, right? I just kind of like was aimlessly wandering around in the football field, like watching everybody run around, thinking I'm doing activity because I'm moving, you know? But I'm not like in the track, I'm not going around that goal. Does that make sense? So don't allow yourself to not make a goal just because you're afraid that you're going to fail. Because you're not going to get anywhere if you don't have that goal. Does that make sense? So what I didn't realize is that I was already failing because I didn't have a goal. So it's really, really important to have that goal because if you're moving forward, you're going to make it. So how many of you made a goal and didn't reach it? So you kind of found yourself sitting back down on the track and pouting about it. That's normal. Okay, know that is normal. You're not weird. You're not like alone in that. You're not isolated in that. We all go through it. Okay, we all go through that. We all like are pushing hard for that goal and we didn't make it. What the heck? Like, what do I do now? You know, when you're discouraged and all that kind of stuff, and that's normal. Okay, that's okay. But let me tell you that you're not a failure for not reaching it the first time, or the second time, or the third time, or the millionth time. Okay? You're not a failure. You only fail when you quit. Does that make sense? You only fail when you quit. So you just pick yourself up by the bootstraps and keep walking forward. Keep moving forward, y'all. That's what it's all about, you know? So, like, I guarantee you, most athletes in their career, probably in the prime of their career, end up, like, injuring themselves, right? And they're sitting there going, I've got a torn ACL, like, what am I going to do? All this kind of stuff. But you know what? They don't say, well, can and that, Green. You know, they go to the physical therapist. They go to the strengthening classes. They get better, and they get back on track and do it again. Guarantee you Maria Sharapova did that. How many football players do we know that have done that? Like, countless. So that's no different in our business. When we feel ourselves like get kind of knocked to the side on a goal or get discouraged about something, like we don't just say, well, okay, you know, you pick yourself back up, you start running forward, and you do the steps that it takes to get there. Does that make sense? So it's really, really important. How many of you have goals and you're looking at your deadline or you're looking at seminar and you're going, oh boy, that's coming all quick. Anybody feeling that right now? Preaching. Okay, so it's normal. You're not alone. That is okay. It's okay to feel that pressure. So how many of you guys like football? How many of you guys watch football and know what I'm talking about? Like, even if you don't like it, you're watching it because your husband or whoever is watching it. So how many football games have we seen over and over and over again where your team, like the one you're rooting for, man, they're like down by this many and you're like, they can still do it! You know, it's like 10 minutes or like 2 minutes on the clock. I don't know. I don't even watch football. And you're thinking like, they could still do it. They could still do it. And you watch them push even though they're exhausted, and even though they're probably thinking, we're never going to make this, like, this is ridiculous, and that kind of stuff. But they keep pushing for it, man. They keep running for that end zone. They're not looking anywhere else. They're not looking in the crowd. They're looking at the end zone. They're looking where they need to go, where they need to be, and what they need to carry across that line. Does that make sense? And then you know what? Amazing things happen in the end zone, don't they? Yeah. And you end up standing up going, I don't even know how that happened. But it's because they didn't stop. It's because they didn't stop. It's because they kept pushing forward. Guys, it is the same thing in our Mary Kay business. It's the end zone time. Like, we are, like, some of us feel like we need to make Hail Mary passes. Like, know that the Lord your God is large and big and is really good at Hail Marys, okay? So He can totally pull this out for you. You just keep pushing forward. He will carry you across the finish line. I promise you He will. And He will be glorified either way, okay? Which is our purpose. The reason for which we live and breathe is to praise His name. And so you moving forward in that and not being discouraged, to run with perseverance the race that is set out before you. What race are you in right now? Run with perseverance, Persevere through what makes you feel like you need to sit down in the middle of the track and pout for a minute. Like, don't pout. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Keep on running. Because you only fail when you quit. You only fail when you quit. Just keep pushing forward. Because you will make it. I promise you, you will make it. And so just keep pushing forward with that. With your eyes fixed on the goal line, because amazing things happen in the end zone. Does that make sense? So, if you have never made a goal before, if you're scared to make a goal, if you've made a goal and you didn't make it, pick yourself up. Don't be afraid. Keep walking forward. Nobody's mad at you. Nobody's upset with you. You did not fail. You're not a failure. You are not a failure. The measure of a man, the measure of a woman, the measure of a human being is what they do in the moment of a crisis or in the moment of discouragement. And what you do in order to bring success about is you stay on your knees and run. Okay? And the Lord will show you what needs to be done to do that. And He's our strong tower and our deliverer, a very present help in a time of need. And I was just talking to Miss Tara earlier that the verse that I'm praying over myself is that the vision is yet for its appointed time. Though it tarries, wait for it patiently, for it will certainly come. It will not delay. And sometimes we feel like, Lord, it's delaying. It is delaying right now. But I'm going to stand on the watchtower. I will stand my watch and see what answer He will give to this question of mine. Because God will answer you. He will speak. He will show you what needs to be done. It is for you to do the work, and He will bless the work of your hands. Okay? Are you with me? Like, give me an amen or something. Okay? Like, y'all can do this. Absolutely do this. So I wanted to show you a quick video that is just really, really inspiring to me. And in our Mary Kay business, I think a lot of times we have a tendency to focus on our falls. Do we not? Yes. And we beat ourselves up for them. But this race is not about a fall. Your Christian walk is not about a fall. Your Mary Kay business is not about a fall. It's about a rise. It's about the Lord that He has. You can just say it. It's cool. 1-891. So your Mary Kay business is not about a fall. It's about, it's about a rise. Okay? That's what defines it. That's what defines you. The Lord has raised you out of the muck and the mire in your Christian walk. And you will raise yourself if you keep running forward in your Mary Kay business. Okay? So I just wanted to show you guys this little video whenever it comes up. Do you hear me? Do you hear the truth? You can do this. The race is not about a fall. It's about a rise. The Lord your God is with you. He is your peace, your strength. There's no higher name, no mightier name than He is. Do you see the wings that He carried her with? He carries you. This is the truth and the promise. And it's no different in your man cave business. So amazing things happen. Amazing things happen when you have the Lord as your business partner. Not only as your business partner, but as your Savior. And you walk with Him in your daily life. So don't be discouraged. Take hope, take faith, take heart. Get up, run forward. Don't sit there and pout. Don't not have a vision, don't not have a goal. Look at that finish line. You go, girl, because you can do this. You with me? All right. Amen. Yay!
That was awesome.
All right, well, who wants to give Sarah Catherine some shout-outs? Maybe something that you learned, something that you took away, something that you thought, oh, that was for me this morning. Y'all need to stand up. Get off your rock, get off your seat, onto your feet, because let me tell you, this is how you're rocking the last 100 days of the seminar year. And I just want to tell y'all while you're thinking of what you would love to affirm in Sarah Catherine that I want to thank y'all for being here. You know, I was sitting back there thinking, and I was looking at each of your faces and thinking, I know that you would not be here on a Saturday morning when your family's off and doing other things. Let's just be for real. When, you know, you could be doing a lot of things. Some of you had to say no. All of you had to say no to other things in order to be here this morning. You are investing of your time, of your gas to drive, of your time and resources to be here. And y'all, we want to thank you. Because we never take that for granted as sales directors. And when we look around this room, it says to us, these are the women that are committed and committed to move. And you know, I'm reminded that if you want to compare and think about, well, so-and-so is in their cozy bed with the covers right now, or so-and-so is off doing this or that, if you want to compare one thing, you've got to be willing to compare all things. And you know what? Those people are not going to be going to the dealership in a few months to pick up a free car. Let's be for real, right? Those people are not going to have the deposits in their bank account that you will.
Amen.
Right? Amen. Those people are not going to have the impact, perhaps, on people's lives like you will. And so I learned a long time ago, if you want to compare, well, you got to compare it all. Because it's not normal. It's not normal to start a business and to receive and earn 2 cars in 1 year. That's not normal, is it?
No.
But because Sarah Catherine was willing to show up to events on a Saturday morning and be cute and funky and spry, right? Y'all, she's received 2 Mary Kay cars in a very short amount of time. Being a full-time student, being engaged, having a lot of life going on. And so, before y'all sit down, I want you to give her one thing that just felt, man, that was for me. And when you do that, you can sit down.
I love what she said at the end. It's not about the fall, but a rise.
That's so true. Because I will tell you, I watch a consultant closer after she misses a goal to see what she's going to do with that than I do even when she hits it. Because anybody can hit it and be great, right? Right. But when she misses a goal and she gets up and she puts Band-Aids on those bloody knees and she keeps running, that's when I know she's got the stuff that it is made out of. And that excites me when I see that in someone that is unrelenting in their pursuit of excellence. Okay, who else?
Stay on your knees and run.
Absolutely. That got like 5 stars.
Got out of it, and that's what I think sometimes we do.
That got 5 stars in my nose. I agree. Okay, who else?
I like the part about the football team.
Yeah.
Football girl, and my team this year was unbelievable when it came to last minute get it done. Auburn was the one.
Right.
No matter what, except for that last one, but yeah,
Awesome.
that was the one that was the best to me.
Yes.
And for me, Sarah Catherine, it was actually the same analogy, although I like football, but I don't watch football. But what I saw a picture when you said that they kept their eyes on the field goal or the end goal or whatever it is, and they keep their eyes on. I literally got a picture of the team down there on the field. All this going on around their heads, all this, all these distractions and everything, but they're focused.
That's right.
And they said, no, I've got the ball, and that's where I need to take it. And that's how focused that we have to be. That's how focused I have determined this morning that I am going to be, because I will get to the other side.
That's right.
I will be director, and like I told you before, I will be national. And I love your faith. I if for no other reason than to share my faith. I mean, God is awesome.
That's right. That's right. And you know, the higher the mountain you climb, the farther your voice resounds.
Amen.
That's awesome.
Okay, who else? Go, Becky.
You don't fail unless you quit.
Yes. You don't fail unless you quit. So true. So true. Who else?
She started saying pushing forward, and so I thought of an acronym, PUSH. Pepper until something happens. You're selling, you're sharing the opportunity. I mean, you just pepper them until something happens. So keep pushing, you all.
That's a great word. I love it.
You got me off from the very well. First of all, you started about goals, and I was like, "How many goals have I made? Really? Do we get here?" Okay, everybody's got to go.
Right.
But then the first thing you said was quit wasting your resources, and I was like, and a little convicted, just a little bit. But it was honestly, the whole thing was just a perfect word, a pointed word for what I needed to hear.
Thank you, girl. Good word.
I go.
And tell me your name again. I know your name.
Letitia.
Letitia. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, it was a lot of things I got the whole thing, but I'm just narrowed down. Just about making goals from when you came to our meeting on that Tuesday, and I was like, okay, we got goals again. I already heard this, okay, like I was okay, let me put it back in my mind. But anyway, just setting those goals, and you know, when those things don't happen, just keep going. And run with perseverance, you know, because we can run but with no goal, and we'll never know we go past the destination. So with perseverance, that's a big thing for me. Of course, amazing things happen in the end zone, and no matter when we get there, we'll get there, but we got to go, we'll get there somehow. And so, and just remember that God is our strength, you know, and so that He'll take us through. And just believing in that, like if He provides the way. Like today, I'm really at work at my other job, and I told them, I said, well, I got to meet from 10 to 12. That's the only way I can do it. They was like, okay. They came back the next day. Well, whatever you got to do, just make sure you're here the rest of the day. I said, okay, that's fine. So for Him providing those things lets me know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So.
That's right. That's a good word, Letitia.
Yeah.
Thank you, girl.
Okay. I'm Dana. I'm new. I got my pen Tuesday night. And I have a confession. I was the powder this week, and I know God's word never returns void, and the word also says that if you have faith as a mustard seed, you can move mountains. And then when that finished with Philippians 4:13, that's my daughter's favorite verse. My husband and I had a house go to foreclosure. A lot of things happened, and we ended up filing for bankruptcy a couple of years ago, 2011. So I got my packet. I was like, yes, I'm going to get my order. So I go and I apply for the Mary Kay credit card, and it says pending further review. So then Beverly says, well, go down to this mutual loan, and you can do that. So I go down there Wednesday, and they said, oh, well, if you're on a full-time job, you can't get a loan. And I said, well, I have a husband's power of attorney. Can I do it with a power of attorney? He says, well, I'll turn it over to our lawyers, and if you don't hear back from me, then no, you can't do it with a power of attorney. And so I'm going, great. There goes my $216 of free stuff when I order $600 worth of wholesale. Yesterday in the mail, and doubting God was, like I said, I confess, I doubted how great our God is. We got a letter in the mail from our one credit card that we've been able to get since our bankruptcy. And they have increased our credit line from $500 to $2,000. So now I can go home and order my stuff today. So thank you for reminding me not to give up.
Amen.
Good word.
My thing was about the goals. You can set a big goal, and if you don't break it down, you're not going to reach that goal because you're trying to do the big thing and not trying to reach the smaller things that get you to that. And don't stop, keep pushing forward. I really needed that, and Beth has been trying to remind me of that all week long because it has been really hard to get these 13 new contacts, and I just needed that.
Good deal.
Good deal, girl.
Don't stop. That's right. Exactly right. Okay. I think the part that I liked the most was when you were talking about just running around the football field. And you're like, well, I'm making progress because I'm moving.
Yes.
But if you don't really have that, specific goal, then it just turns into a facial here, a party there, and you're just doing work, but you're not making any progress because you're just running around.
Yes. Like
Here I am.
That's a great reminder. Thank you so much, girl. Well, Sarah Catherine, thank you. Thank you for your time, your preparation, your passion, and your heart to be able to share. And I know that that Equinox is only going to be there like for a second because the Cadillac is on its way. Don't y'all know the Cadillac is on future national sales record.
All right. Well, that works beautifully to segue into what I wanted to talk to you guys about. And here's what I want. I want you to leave here with clarity. Like by the time your tushing hits the seat of your car and you are going home, I want you to have that much clarity about what your business is going to look like and what you want to create between now and June 30th. Is everybody on board with that? Okay, for those of you that are brand new, I will tell you, why are we in this push to the finish? Well, our seminar year starts July 1st, and it runs through the end of June 30th, okay? So this is like the fourth quarter of the football game or the fourth quarter of the basketball game or whatever. We can see the finish line. And, I think there's a couple different things that happen at this point in the race, right? We can see kind of where we are, and we can kind of be looking and see where other people are. And we either let that determine and dictate our pace, and we speed up because my 5 girlfriends are in DIQ with me, and I'm not going to be left behind. Or we look around and go, dang, all them are so far ahead, I might as well just catch my breath. I'll wait for the next race. I'll start July 1st. And what do y'all think happens if we adopt that mentality?
Keep going.
Lay on that ground.
Exactly. You'll still be laying there, right? And so I just want you to have clarity. And Sarah Catherine did such a great job of laying this groundwork because we can have an end result and goal, but if we don't know, if that doesn't translate to what do I do when I wake up on Monday, then it's just still a big goal. Right? And so breaking that down, I think, is really huge. Has anybody read Visioneering? It's a book by Andy Stanley. Okay. Amazingly great book. If you're a reader or if you're an audio listener, you play it in your car or in the mornings, a lot of times when I'm just getting ready and putting on my face or something, a lot of times you can download audiobooks or if you're driving. So don't let that be an obstacle, like if you say, oh, I'm not really a reader, because those that read will lead. They really will. So in this book by Andy Stanley, he writes that money usually follows vision. Money usually follows vision. And it rarely happens the other way around. So how many of you started Mary Kay to make money?
or are okay with making money. Either way, okay? Because let's be clear, that's not the only reason. I mean, it's not. There are a lot of women who start this company that are already earning six figures. They don't really need the income, but they have other needs in their life, right? But I don't believe that you'd be here on a Saturday morning if you didn't at least have some of that reason, all right? So, money follows vision. It rarely happens the other way around. And we get paid, I believe, in Mary Kay based on our clarity and the level of commitment to our goals. Okay? So think about our new CC cream. Okay? CC. Our clarity and our commitment, those two things are going to equal our vision, our clarity and our commitment. That's also going to equal our level of paycheck. It really will. So if you had a low paycheck or you haven't had much to deposit into your Mary Kay account lately, I just believe that means that usually you either have low clarity or low commitment. And the converse is also true, right? So average or inconsistent deposits into your Mary Kay account, if we're just going to look at, that's specific and measurable. You could go back and look at your Mary Kay account and see what are you depositing into that. It's pretty tangible, right? So if that's been lower than you would like, or maybe it's been sporadic, you might have done what Rena used to call it Zoom eakers. You zoom ahead and then you to a stop, right? Okay, so if you don't have that consistency, then it's probably one of those things, two things, lack of clarity or lack of commitment. So let's talk about those two. All right. So if you are highly committed, and I'm just going to assume that most of you are, because I don't think you'd really be here on a Saturday morning and rearranged your day and your schedule and your plans and said no to other things if you weren't committed to your business. So I think most of you probably have that in place. I really do. But then sometimes you might not have the clarity. So like I said a minute ago, like you wake up on Monday and you go, so what do I need to do today? It's not clear in your mind what that activity on a daily basis needs to translate into. Now, sometimes the opposite is true. Sometimes you have a lot of clarity. Like you might have a 16-page plan of this is what I know I want to do, and here's all my numbers, and what I know I need to do on a daily basis, and here's how many people I want to talk to, and here's, my number of new contacts I need, my face, and you might have a lot of clarity, but you have low commitment. So those two things have got to be equal, okay? Just like an algebra equation, you got to have high commitment, and you got to have high clarity. That will equal a large paycheck every time, every single time. I think about this past month, and I share this with you not as a brag on me. This is a brag on Mary Kay in the education that you will receive. I have right now very high clarity on where my time needs to be invested to finish this national area. And I have a very high level of commitment to make sure my energy is invested in those places. So I have high clarity, I have high commitment, therefore my paycheck that was deposited into my Mary Kay account this past month, just in my commissions, was over $9,000. High clarity, high commitment equals a high paycheck. So we got to get clear about those two things in between if we want that to equal out. So are y'all up to talking about that?
Yes.
All right. So let's focus on the clarity side. Because like I said, I believe commitment for a large part of you is already there or you wouldn't be here. Okay, but that clarity, and I think in Mary Kay it's such a blessing. We have a lot of things that we could run after. I could be a star every quarter. I could pick my level of star. I could be a red jacket. I can be on target for my car. I can do a power start. I do 30 phases. I mean, we just have a lot of options about what we can run after. And aren't we thankful for that? That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. But I believe that if we're not clear, a confused mind does what? Nothing. Nothing, right? So that's where that clarity has to come into play. So I want you to jot this down. June 30th. All right, June 30th. We have around a little under 90 days, 90, 80 left in our seminar year. All right. So by June 30th, if I had to ask you, what is the one thing, Becky, what is the one thing, the place that you want to be celebrated on June 30th? What is it? Now, it's a little different for each one of you. That is the beautiful thing about this business. I don't come, to Amy and say, this is your assignment and here's what I need by June 30th. She gets to create that. And for some of you, that is going to look financial. It's going to be like, look, this is the amount of income, let's be clear, that I need between now and June 30th. For some of you, you're excited and you're passionate about the pursuit of a position because you know that position will produce the income, right? For some, so it's going to look different. But I want you to take just a minute and I want you to give that some thought. Quick prayer if needed, but I want you to write it down. By June 30th, where am I going to love to be celebrated? What is my win for me and my business? Go. Jot that down. All right, for some of you, you knew that. It was like, boom, I got it. For some of you, you might have had to think about that for just a second because you've been running around on that field, but you haven't really clarified, what is it? Okay? So I want you to turn to a neighbor, find a partner. You can do threesies if you need to, and I want you to share that with them. Go.
I want to be by June 30th. You can do it, girl. I won't go. I was just inviting her anywhere. We can bring some down there. Right now, starting in December, so wonderful. A little bit. I don't think it's like a scare. I'm just like nervous. I mean, I know my
Okay, so probably you kind of have that because here's what I believe. The minute you have clarity about where your goals are and where you want to be celebrated, your mind starts to go to work in how to get there and like how to figure it out. Because I can teach you, how to have time management, and I can teach you some great booking tools, and I can teach you all that, but if you're not really clear and have clarity about where you want to be celebrated, you're probably not most likely to implement all those great ideas, right? Okay, so that's step one. You got to know where you want to be celebrated. So y'all just toss out, give me some places you want to be celebrated June 30th.
Red jacket or higher.
Red jacket or higher.
Red jacket.
Red jacket.
Director.
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 Future.
Future director.
Well, yeah.
All of the above.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
All the above.
I have three things.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I want to be directed by June 30th. But I need $5,000 income
Okay.
between now and then, as well as I want 10 recruits each month. 10 this month, May, and then June as well.
Because that's specific and measurable, right? When you have an income goal, you have a team building goal, you have a position on the career path kind of goal. And y'all, we can talk about this, but I so believe that this business is totally mathematical, right? Not magical, mathematical. And so whatever your goal for yourself personally is, I do think that a lot of times if it is a positional goal like, red jacket, team leader, blah, blah, I think that when you attach a money making and an income goal to that, it gets you really excited. you know, and it gets you motivated because you're tracking towards that. So I would also just encourage you to think about that for yourself personally. Maybe there's a bill that you could take over for your family that would say to them, oh, she's like really creating some income, right? Or maybe it's a deposit that you want to commit to make for your family every week or every month from your business. Because I think when we get that clear and that specific, that's when we start to move. Totally when we start to move. And sometimes it's the income goal that will drive the position. Sometimes it's the position that will drive the income. But whichever it is, I think we got to get that clear. Okay? So, let's use Tara as an example. She said she wants $5,000 in profit now to June 30th. Would anybody else be opposed to that? Okay. Just checking. Okay. Just checking. All right. So I want to give you an example you can work with to have that clarity, right? So she needs to have $5,000 as profit. All right. Who's my statistician, my mathematician in the room? Okay. She wants it. It's not me. She said, but I got to calculate. All right. So she wants to have $5,000 in profit between now and June 30th. I want y'all to jot this down because you need to know how to work these numbers, even if your numbers are different, or you need to know how to work these numbers for your team members, right? If your goal is not income and you're totally great with that, you're going to have somebody on your team that needs money, right? So you need to learn how to do this, regardless if it's for you or for somebody else. All right, so $5,000 in profit, or your number may be different. All right, if you're working on a 60-40 split, now we make half of what we make in Mary Kay, but I will teach you in money management working on that 60-40 split. Why is that important? Y'all tell me. Right, you heard us talk about the Preferred Customer Program announcement, April 15th. If you're working on a 60-40 split, you clearly have the money and the income already in your Mary Kay account to pay for that. It will send me over a cliff when I hear a consultant say, oh, I just couldn't afford to do PCP, Preferred Customer Program. I couldn't afford to enroll my customers. I'm like, what the heck? Okay, if Tawana was my customer, it would cost me less than $5 for a whole entire year. A year! If I enrolled her to receive everything there was to get through the Preferred Customer Program. The lookbook, the optional mailer. And so I always know when that goes out because my customers will start connecting with me. And so Mary Kay taught us that. She said, we got to get the penny out of our eye in order to see the dollar, right? And there's no minimum on that. So even if you're brand new and you think, I don't really have any customers that are preferred, send it to your mama and your sister and your neighbor or your coworker or whatever, because it does allow you that early ordering privilege that's there, okay? And I would set yourself a reminder in your phone, like no later than Monday. I know it's the 15th, but no later than Monday, because every once in a while they'll run out of the lookbooks that have the free samples included. So you want to make sure you hop on that before that they're gone. Okay, so working on a 60-40 split, she needs $5,000 in profit. All right, what is she going to need to sell in order to have $5,000 in profit?
2,000.
How much?
10,000.
10,000. That's if she were working on a 50-50 split, okay? So if she were working on a 50-50 split, she could sell 10,000, and then she would have 5,000 in her Mary Kay account and 5,000 to reinvest in her product. But if she's working on a 60-40 split, how much is she going to need to sell? 12. All right, somebody tell me how to calculate that, because you need to know this formula. And maybe it's a week. Maybe your husband comes by, or maybe you say, oh, this bill is due on Friday, and I need $300 to pay this bill, okay? And I'm giving you this for my personal testimony, okay? You know, Mary Kay feeds my children, pays my mortgage, right? So if you know you need $300, some people in their mind, if they're not good at their money management or they don't know how to do this, they think, oh, I just need to go sell $300. What happens if you sell $300 and you go pay that bill?
You don't invest in that.
You don't have any products.
You don't have any product, right? You're not reinvesting into your business. In the real world, that's called embezzlement. And what do they do to people that embezzle?
Go to the big house.
Yes, they do. They get a little time that they have to serve. Now, Mary Kay, we've got to be our own money managers. right? So how do you figure out this formula? If you go, I need X amount, and I'm working on a 60-40 split, how do you figure that out?
Well, actually, she needs to sell 13,000. So you take your 5,000 and multiply that by 0.60, and then that tells you how much more than the 50 that you need to sell. So she would need to sell 13,000.
Okay, so say that again, because I know I'm seeing some questions like, what? I wasn't that great at math.
Okay, you
So
know you
say
get
it
50-50, right? You know you've got that. But if you want to work on the 60-40, you take the amount of money that you need to make, her 5,000, multiply that by 0.60. That equals $3,000. So you need to add $3,000 to that $10,000 in order to have that 60-40.
Does that make sense? Y'all all with me?
So the 6.0 is actually 60%.
60%.
Point six zero. Yes. Okay, so somebody else give me another number to work with. How much do you need a week? Let's talk about a weekly number. How much do you want to deposit? Okay, you want to deposit at least $300 a week into your Mary Kay account. Okay, into your personal account as profits, right? You need to net. I need to have $300 of spendable cash at the end of the week. So what would be Carolyn's formula on how she figures out how much do I need to sell in a week to have $300 in cash?
The same formula.
Okay, so she takes 300 and she does what with it?
Times 0.6.
Times 0.60 or 0.6. Okay, what does that give you? 180. So she adds that 180 to what?
600.
To 600. And she has how much in sales a week? 780. Okay? So y'all get clear on that math, right? So she sells 780. She takes that 780, she deposits that into her Mary Kay account, and then she transfers it online, or she writes an actual check from her Mary Kay account, whatever she does, and she deposits it into her personal account, and she's profited $300, right? Okay, y'all all good? Is that helpful? I know that's basic, but y'all, that's pretty huge. It's pretty huge. And we talk about we can make money in Mary Kay, but I think we got to be clear on how we're managing our money in Mary Kay, right? And work with your new team members on this. When she says, you know, I'd really love to have that, an extra $400 a month for my family. Show her this formula so she can feel confident in what is specific and measurable, right? All right, so once you have that number, the beautiful thing is that we get to determine how we hit that number. But on average, Mary Kay will tell us we can count on about $100 of faith that we put this product on. Now, you know, she buys a lip gloss and you think, what? God, about $300. But then she buys a roll-up bag, right? But on average, especially when you're in front of target market, and when I say target market, y'all know I'm just talking about women that are gainfully employed or that have some source of income, that are taking pride in their appearance. Like target market, you're going to have about $100 a face. So you get to decide how valuable is your time. And do you want to work smart or do you want to work hard? So if Carolyn needs to sell 700, what do we say, 80? Can we just say 800 to do round math? Are y'all good with that? She knows she needs to get this product on 8 faces in a week. 8 faces in a week. And I will tell you, you get this product on 8 faces in a week in their target market faces, that's where your insurance policy Mary Kay is. Now the beautiful thing is she gets to decide if she wants to do Tara's face and she wants to spend an hour doing that. And then she can go do Tawana's face. She can spend an hour doing that. Then she can go do Corinne's face. She can spend an hour doing that. Or she can have Tara be a hostess. And she grabs you and her girlfriends, wouldn't we love that party right there, right? She puts it on 8 faces at one time. Now, which is working smarter?
8 faces at one time.
You just can't believe it, okay? So if we know that's the case, then we got to get sharp at our skill in taking the face to the party, right? So what is going to drive Tara to be a great hostess and have a great party? What's in it for her? WIFM. Mary Kay said that. Everybody's tuned into that station. WIFM. What's in it for me? Right? What's in it for me? And if you say to me, God, I just can't book parties, I will say you're focused on you. And I know that might sound like, oh, my toes. But really, if you're thinking I can't book parties, it's because you're focused on you. If you focus on what it is that she wants, you're hosting parties, right? And so if I'm connecting with Tara and I talk to her about a booking, give me some objections. What do y'all most commonly hear when it's time to turn a facial into a party? What do you most commonly hear?
I don't have time.
Okay, I don't have any time, right? Well, first of all, I usually book her as a facial first, okay? So I'm not talking about a party yet. So we already have the time allotted and set aside. That's pretty huge, because sometimes we just like go for the big guns, and we left her reeling, right? So if I booked her for a facial first and just said, hey girl, I just got in all my new spring products, or I got some CC creams, I really need your opinion, or whatever you're doing to book, y'all can book a facial. Would y'all agree? Yeah. Y'all can. You can book a facial. I know you can. And so if you can book a facial, it's just a little different skill set to turn that into a great party. So if I've already booked her for a facial, then I've already overcome the time objection. But sometimes, let's just get real, we get so excited when we have booked her for a facial, we're like, oh, I booked a facial! And then we stop. And we don't even ask or carry it any further, right? Because we're afraid we're going to freeze her up or scare her off or whatever. That's thinking. All right, so if it's not time, what else do you hear?
Don't know anybody.
Don't know anybody, okay? All right, so if I book that facial with Tara and I say, Tara, oh my gosh, okay, when we get together, girl, I know you're going to love some of this new product. Do you want to pay full price? Do you want to get some at a discount or get it for free?
I'd love to get it for free.
And y'all, that is that's the bridge from I've got a facial to I want to turn it into a party, because that's WIFM, what's in it for me. So learn those words. Okay, Tara, that's great, girl. I got your deal for Thursday at 6:30. Now, I know you're going to love some of this product that I'm putting on your face. This new product is amazing. So I'll play Let's Make a Deal. Do you want to pay full price, get some at a discount, or maybe even get some for free? I don't have a woman say full price. Unless I've asked her before, and she just is, she's good with that. But most of the time, it's a discount or free. And I say, okay, Tara, here's the deal. And then I'm going to offer her whatever hostess program I've got going on. Maybe it's $100 free to party with me. Maybe it's $10 for every guest that she has there, especially if I know she's sharp. She's going to get me in front of some other people. Maybe I know that she wants a microdermabrasion, and that's what she's going to work for. Maybe, so I've got to figure out what's in it for her. What does she want? And when I know that, she will get the guest there. Would y'all agree?
Yes.
She will. So if I said, okay, Tara, I got you Thursday, 6:30, and I know you're going to love some of these new spring products. Let's just assume you do. We'll play Let's Make a Deal. Do you want to pay full price, get them at a discount, or maybe even free? Free. Okay, great. Well, here's what I would love for you to brainstorm on. Think about 6 to 10 of your girlfriends that you can steal away and bring with you. Now, y'all, when I say 6 to 10, it takes her brain to a whole different level. Because y'all say, think about a friend. If she's thinking about a friend, who's coming with her? Nobody. Right? If she's thinking about a friend, nobody's coming with her. I say, girl, okay, here's what I want you to do. I got you Thursday at 6:30. I want you to think about like 8 to 10 girlfriends that you can bring with her. Because if she's thinking 8 to 10, she's probably going to have 4 to 6, right? So that's a game changer. Game changer. And so just play with me. What are some things you might hear at that point when I say, okay, girl, think about 8 to 10 girlfriends you want to steal away and bring with you? And I tell you what, would it be better for you to text me or email me or Facebook me who's coming with you? And just play with me. What are some things you might hear?
I don't know how to do any of that.
You don't have friends?
Facebook. Oh, no, I've got some friends.
Okay, good. So what would be the best way for you to be able to get that information to me, just so I can be professionally prepared? Like how many people are coming with you and stuff? Do you want to just call me, or do you want to email me? Do you want to text me? What's better for you?
I could probably call them or email.
Okay, which is better, calling or emailing?
Email them from my dad.
Okay, great, because I know we're in front of our computer. So when would be a great time for you to send those to me?
I'll probably send them to you in the morning or sometime tomorrow after lunch.
Okay. So I tell you what, I'll just make myself a note tomorrow afternoon to make sure that I have that email from you. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay. So y'all, I hope you're hearing it. It's a next step and a next step. And there's nothing pushy about that. It's really not. It's just coaching her to completion. Coaching to completion, okay? So I'm going to ask her to send me that. If she doesn't, then I'm going to follow up with her. What are some other things you might hear right there at that point where you're saying, okay, shoot me your 8 to 10 girlfriends. What are some other things you might hear? My house isn't clean. Gotta clean my house. I just say, girl, they're not coming to look at your house. They're coming to be pampered. Don't worry about that.
I'll call them first, and then I'll get back with you.
Your friends? Okay. Well, I tell you what, I am going to save this time for you, and so I'm committed to you regardless. But I want you to think about it this way. If you were planning a birthday party, would you call all your friends and try to figure out when it was great with them, or would you just plan the birthday party and then you would invite them? Which would you do?
I plan the party.
Yeah. Okay, so let's just do that because we know the date's good for me and you. And probably some of your girlfriends are going to have this and that. But I'll go ahead and hold that, and I feel confident. You are so much fun. You could find 6 to 8 fun girlfriends to join.
Okay.
Okay? Because that's the reality, y'all. People don't plan a birthday party. They don't call all their friends and say, will this work for you? Does this work for you? Does this work for you? They go, here's the date, and then they invite people. Right? This works the same. What else would you maybe hear?
You'll have to cook.
You have to cook? Oh, heavens, no. Girl, you just go pick up some popcorn. That's fine. That's what I say. And even if I know it's somebody that is a big hostess and she loves doing all that, I'll ask her not to because it might kill my follow-up booking. And there might be somebody else there and they go, that is not my deal. And so they may think they have to do all that in order to have a party.
I tell them cookies and lemonade.
Yeah, just something super simple, super easy breezy. Yeah.
In the package, open them up.
Yes. Okay. So let's go back to our working example for just a minute. Because if we know how much income we need, we know it's about $100 per face, we get to decide, do we want to work smart or hard, right? Now, what else might be on that component? We go, okay, maybe this is good. I know I need 8 faces in a week for Carolyn or whatever, but how do I find those people? What if I'm out of contacts and connections, or I feel like I need a new influx of people. Any of y'all there?
Yes.
Okay. Or if you're not, you might get there in the future. You might have some team members that are. And so on my unit website, it's bethaustin.info. When you click on the resources section, you drop that down to networking and leads. There's a list there of 31 ways that I personally developed new contacts and connections.
Okay, go through that again. Go on
Okay,
the website.
bethaustin.info, click where it says resources, and then drop it down. It says something about booking, leads. Oh yeah, education. Thank you, Carolyn. Education, and then it's booking leads. And then it's called networking and building your customer base. And there's about 31 different ways to network and build your customer base and meet people. And y'all, I'm telling you, there's so many people with so much skin. Truly. I can promise you that. And when you're clear enough on your vision of your goal, I've never in 13 years had somebody that was clear enough on their vision that didn't have people, that didn't have contacts. if they're clear, if their vision was clear and their commitment was solid, they people start appearing. They have more people than they know what to do with it when they're that clear. And if there's something, I'll kind of wrap up with this, that is just eluding you, like, oh, I just need to nail this, y'all reach up. Because your director wants nothing more in the whole wide world than to help you really be successful and be clear. Be clear. All right. So, in order to have a high paycheck, what do we got to have? Two things. Clarity and commitment. All right? So, your follow-up, what I want you to do is share your vision and your goal, that vision of where you want to be by June 30th with your sales director, because she needs to know. And then you share with her, this is my game plan around that. Are there any other ideas you would suggest, anything you would tweak, anything you would add, because she can really help you with that. Okay, so questions, comments, anything y'all want clarity around?
I think that was good. It's something that but I do want to say that God gave me an idea last night. I did a skincare class with family, and family is a lot of fun, but a lot of times they still haven't taken the business seriously.
Sure.
So I got things like, I love the time-wise repair, but I don't get paid until the end of the month, and can I break it up in payments, and just all kind of things and all that. So my niece was the hostess. She invited people from Facebook, and my sister called in, and she says, well, I just read on Facebook, and then she called in an order, which was good. Long story short, though, the class was only like $64. Okay. So what I told my niece was, I said, she said, oh, Auntie, I'm so disappointed, but she really didn't talk to people to try to get people there, I think she thought that I was just going to give her the products anyway, because she's my niece and all of that, and so I gave her a couple of lookbooks, and I said, she's a school teacher, and I said, what I need you to do now, I've asked them to do this for me before, and it never worked. But last night it worked. I said, what I need you to do is just talk to some of your friends at work, get them to place an order with you, that kind of thing. And I said, I need to have this done. This was last night. I said, I need to have this done by Thursday, this kind of thing. And I said, and in that way, we'll revisit, and we'll see where you are as far as what products you want, and we'll go from there. And then the Holy Spirit says, you need about 10 women doing that for you.
Being outside hostesses, sure.
So that way, not only am I getting those orders, but I'm getting those names and numbers.
Yeah, absolutely.
That kind of thing. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely, that's a great plan. Well, one of the things that I wanted to also say to kind of draw this to close is that when you think about, because one of the things Angela asked me to talk about is enrolling in your unit goals. But this is why I felt like it was so important to break down your personal goals by June 30th. Because here's the thing. When you hit your personal goals, each of you, and you're working with your team members to reach their goals, it's going to drive your unit goals all day long. It really will. Because as we're developing a national area, guess what? I need people in their red jackets. And I need people as those offspring sales directors. I need people as star consultants, as they're wrapping up Cadillacs and other offsprings. Your unit needs you to play at your best. Because what does that do for everybody else around you? It does. It inspires them. It raises the bar, right? Totally encourages, equips, empowers them. And so ask your sales rep, y'all, if you want to bless her, if you want her to just put you in her amen corner, ask her. If you don't already know, you probably already know what her goals are by seminar for you as a unit. But if you don't know, ask her. Ask her how you're tracking. Ask her where we are. Ask her, how can I best help us as a unit achieve that? How do you feel if one of your team members says to you, what are your goals? How can I most help you? And y'all don't ever take that for granted. Ask your sales director that. Call her when you leave here and say, I just want you to know that I'm so on board with what it is that we're creating by June 30th. You have my commitment to play at my best. Gosh, how that would bless her, right? Because it's serving others when we work our business, for sure. All right, so Angela, I'm going to let you take it away, girl.
How she just put that is, you know, really, because even, it's almost like when you bless others, at the end of the day, in return, you get blessed. Almost like you go into that skincare class and you just think about, how can I bless these women? And then you get all those sales at the end. It's almost like that when you roll in your unit's goal and think about, okay, how can I be a part of my unit's goal? At the end of the day, guess what? You're going to achieve that goal because you were so willing to enroll in the goal of others, okay? So now we know, Beth shared with us the components of what it takes, you know, to the commitment and the clarity and all that kind of stuff, the components of what it takes to really go for that goal and really achieve it. Now, I know that she had you write down your goal for June 30th. Now, what I want to say is, because I know, this is what I know because I used to do it too, is I bet you about half of y'all's paper have a goal that you know you can do. If I'm not wrong, I bet I'm right, because usually 100% of the time, it's something you're like, oh, I'm too scared to write that big goal that I really, really have. But I devil dog dare you to write that big goal that you really, really have. Even if it scares you pea green, I don't care, write it down. Write it down. And then, because when you don't set your goals high enough, you don't have anything you're really striving for. If you know you can do it, why even write that down? I mean, really. I mean, I don't even think you should set it if it's not something that scares you pea green. And I know as women, a lot of times we underestimate ourselves. But let me tell you, you can do whatever you want to. So do not underestimate yourself. You are powerful. You are bold. You are courageous. And you can accomplish anything that you absolutely want to by June 30th, okay? And so I want you to, if you have to, rewrite that goal, something that scares you, but you want to accomplish it, okay? And I'm not going to ask you to look at your goal, but I challenge you to share that with your sales director after you leave today. And you know what? Go home and put that on your wall or put that in front of you, because you want to make sure not that you just write it on a piece of paper, but that you have that in front of you. You can ask my girls. When they walk into my office, they can see my goal posters. The other day we got back home from a career conference. They're like, can we see your goal poster? I'm like, sure, go. But y'all, it took me a long time to start making goal posters and to start tracking stuff. But guess what? You're going to track what you track, okay? So if you're not tracking, it's almost like just driving around with no destination. You don't have that entered into your GPS to get where you're going, okay? Because we don't just know how to get there half the time by ourselves. It's like you're out in nowhere land and you don't know how to get there. So you want to track it all along the way and make sure you're checking in with that GPS to get to where you want to be. And so what I want you to do is write down your really, really real goal, okay, after I shared that with you, your really, really real goal. For one, I want you to write by the end of this month, okay, and then by June 30th. Because we can look way out here at June 30th, which is 3 months from now, and that can still sort of be like, oh, that's really far out there. But let's say, okay, for example, I mean, you can be a DIQ by the end of this month. You can be a director by June 30th if that is your goal. Now, I'm not saying put a goal down that isn't truly your goal, but if it is a desire of your heart, write it down, okay? And so let's just say that you did want to be a director by June 30th, okay? So maybe your first thing is going to be to get in DIQ this month. And y'all, I don't care if you have one person or if you have 8, you can be in DIQ by the end of this month. Even though it's the 10th already, with this $75 starter kit, anybody can do it. Sarah Catherine, I remember watching her in what month was it? August. She had like maybe 2 team members. Her first team member signed up and she was a flop. You know, we've all had those. Somebody that signed up and was just a flop, did nothing. But guess what? You don't worry about those flops. You just keep going, okay? And then she went from the beginning of September to the end of September, submitted DIQ. I mean, she finished up, got in DIQ. Like, she was able to submit for October. But she had, like, basically no one at the 1st of September. And it doesn't matter if you have 0 team members, if you have 10 team members already, you know, whatever. You can be wherever you want to be. And that is by not underestimating yourself and doing the work that it takes to get there, okay? Because guess what? We can set goals, but if we're not willing to put that action behind it, it ain't happening. I'm sorry to tell you, it's not happening. I mean, it's almost like saying, I want this degree, but I'm not going to go to school. I mean, do you really think you're going to get a degree if you don't go to school? You know what I mean? Or saying, oh, I want to work for this company, and I want my paycheck, but I don't want to go to work. That's not going to happen. You know, if you're not going to work for it, you're not going to get it, okay? Now, that's not to say that you're going to be yay, Mary Kay 24/7 all day long. That ain't reality, okay? I don't just jump out of the bed and say, hey, yay, Mary Kay, I'm ready to go to work today. No! I mean, there's days I'm like, oh, I just want to lay in this bed. This morning was one of them, but guess what? I got up and I'm here anyways, and so did you. You're probably thinking, oh, it feels good in this bed. But anyway, so I want you to break that goal down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break down, let's say, if your goal is director, because I know that's like the highest goal you can have, okay? Like for right now in your business, is a director by June 30th. And so really what we're going to do is break that down. And I want you to, and if your goal is smaller, then when you go home today, you can sort of break that smaller goal down, okay? But I want to go ahead and shoot for the biggest goal, so that way if that is your goal, you can break that down by June 30th. But if you have a smaller goal, it would just look like a little bit smaller scale, okay? Now, first off, the first thing you want to do, you got to get that time managed. I see so many women, they set a goal, they want to accomplish this, and they don't take the time to make out a plan sheet. They don't take a time to say, this is when I'm going to work my Mary Kay. Girlfriends, if y'all don't have that scheduled, you're not going to work your Mary Kay. Because this ball game's going to come up, and this concert, and this girls' night out, and church night, and which that's great. But I mean, like, it's just all this stuff is going to come up, and then you're going to say yes to everything, and you're going to be like, oh, I am just so busy. Well, yeah, you're busy because you're doing every activity there possibly could be. I mean, we all have the same 24 hours. It's up to us to decide what we're going to do with that, okay? I mean, like, my church was having a church work day today, you know? My husband's there, but I'm not there. I told him I got work. But I will be there tomorrow helping in the nursery or whatever I can do, you know? So I plan to be here and work my Mary Kay when I work my Mary Kay, but I plan to be there and 100% there when I work that. You see what I'm saying? When I do those things. So you have to sort of learn to think about, okay, what is most important? Okay, is it most important to work my Mary Kay to possibly change my entire family's situation, our life, our long-term? It's going to be long-term gain for that short-term sacrifice, okay? So is it, I mean, there was times when I was growing my business, I had to say no to. Yeah, I mean, my nephew's birthday, they were in another state at the time. My husband, he was my boyfriend's son, was traveling there. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't go. Like, this goal is so important to me that I'm going to sacrifice that. But so I can, now, I'm so glad that I did, because now I get to be home during the day, and I get to keep my nephews if they live back here, and we get to babysit, and I get to take them to the park and to McDonald's and pull them like no end. But if I was still working 8 to 5 and putting that out every day, I wouldn't have the chance to do that. I'm sitting at home with him while his mama's at work. Okay, so, you know, it is a little bit of sacrifice, but think about what is most important to you, okay? So anyway, I want y'all to get a clean sheet of paper on your notebook, and I'm going to show you sort of how to track. Some of you may have heard this before, but you want to make sure you're tracking that goal, because guess what? You attract what you track. If you're not tracking, you're like, you can't really see on paper, like, okay, what am I really doing? Because sometimes it can feel like, you're doing a lot of Mary Kay, but you're just thinking a lot of Mary Kay is what you're doing. You're not doing a lot, you know? So, at the top of your paper, and I hope I don't scare you since you're a brand new. She's all like, whoa! But at the top of your paper, I want you to go ahead and just write April goals. April goals at the top. Okay. And so under that, y'all, I don't want y'all to get so confused up in this business, because you want to know I can tell y'all the secret to this business. Y'all want to know the secret? Like, it's a really real secret. Okay. All you ever have to focus on in this business, are y'all ready for this? Like, how would you love to know that you just have to focus on 2 things in this business? And, like, you will
You could go to you could be a national. I mean, you could do anything if you know that, to focus on these two things. Okay, and I want y'all to write this down. Faces, and I call them shares because that's just more fun to me, but some people call them interviews. Faces and interviews, faces and shares, whatever you want to call it. That's all you got to focus on, girlfriends. You don't have to overwhelm yourself trying to think trying to go out there and get every idea known to man about Mary Kay. And I just see so many consultants waste so much time like organizing and thinking they have to have every idea there once was, but then they never, they may put one into action, but not all of them, because y'all, you just find what works, you go with it, and then you just do faces and shares, and you will be wherever you want to be, okay? Now, depending on where you want to be, it's going to depend on how many faces and shares you want to focus on each month, okay? So, for example, if you want to be in DIQ, let's say, by the end of this month, okay, let's just say you have no team members, okay? So what we're going to do right first is write our personal goals right under this. So we're just going to make like little dashes and write what our personal goals is in this business. So the first thing I want y'all to do is write how many team members, first write your goal, okay, on the first little slash, like whether it's DIQ or Red Jacket, whatever it is. Make a little slash, write what your goal is.
For April or for June?
For April. Sorry, where you want to be by the end of April. So if you want to be a director by the end of June, then DIQ would be your goal by the end of April. Now, if you want to be a team leader, like you maybe do Red Jacket now or senior consultant, something like that. So write whatever that goal is for where you want to be. And then under that, okay, think about how many team members do I need this month. So if your goal is DIQ, that'd be 10 team members that you might need this month. Or if you already have some, just write how many more that you need, okay? Now, if your goal is to be a Red Jacket, like you're going to need 3 team members. So if you already have 2, you're going to need 1 more this month. Like put how many ever team members you want on your team this month under that. Okay, so under that, we're going to equate that to how many shares that you would need to do this month, okay? So for example, typically I just say shoot for higher. I would say when you're doing shares, about 1 out of 5 actually sign up, okay? Sometimes it can be a lower, it can be like 1 out of 3, but we're just going to put you at the highest amount, okay? Because I'd rather y'all overestimate than underestimate. So let's just say you need 10 team members. So what you're going to do is you're going to times that by 3, and so that would be 30 shares that you would need to do this month. So now you're going to put the number of shares, like do a little slash, how many shares is going to be your goal this month. So if you need 3 new team members, you would want to do 15 shares this month. Y'all see what I'm saying? And this, y'all keep this, because this is what you're going to do at the beginning of every month. I'm teaching y'all a system of how to track. And this will get you to wherever you want to be if you definitely track it. Okay, so we have that. We have how many shares. Now, the other thing that you're going to put is like how much sales, and Beth did a good job of breaking this down earlier, but now we're just going to put it on paper. So let's put down how many what amount of sales that you want to do this month, okay? And then that's going to figure out how many faces that we're going to do. So let's just say if your goal is to make $1,000 this month, okay? You're going to want to sell $2,000. So you're going to put $2,000 as your goal. And with that average is $100 per face, then under your goal of how much you want to sell, you're going to then put how many faces is your goal this month. So if it's $2,000, you're going to put 20 faces. And just a little hint, like your new team members, they're not just going to fall in your lap. Like, they're going to come from faces. So that's why you want to be focused on faces, because everything comes from faces. Your new team members, your new sales, your new everything. Okay? Like last night, I met my new team member at a party. I meet all our new team members at a party. Every once in a while, it might be somebody I know, but that's not very often. So your friends and family are not going to get you to a free car, okay? So you definitely want to get outside of just that comfort zone. It's great to start off with them, but then you want to branch out as quick as possible. So if you're one of those that are just sitting there just counting on your friends and family, Your biggest blessing is going to be outside of that, okay? And I double dare you to step outside of that this week and just tell me if that doesn't result in some greatness, okay? Okay, so we have our faces, and then what I like to do is because I like to do parties. Y'all, I don't want to be running around to 20 different houses, spend an hour each one. I mean, that's 20 hours. I don't want to do that. When you can cut it down and have, like last night I had a party of 4. It took me about an hour and a half, 2 hours, because they were really chatty. But, you know, that resulted in a much greater thing. So let's just break down. Let's say there's 4 people at each of your parties, okay? Just on average. Most of the time there's like 4 or 5, you know, that kind of thing. So let's say your goal is 20 faces. Let's just go ahead and put your goal as 5 parties. 5 parties of 4. Y'all, 5 parties, okay, let's just say, for $2,000 worth of sales, 5 parties equals about let's just say they're 2 hours each. That is 10 hours this month. Do you think you could spend 10 hours holding a few parties for $1,000 profit this month?
Yes.
She said yes. That's awesome. Okay, so now we're going to play the bubble game. Are y'all ready for this? Okay, so what I'm going to just, can I use your paper real quick? And pen. Okay, so let's just say, now we're going to write right here. We're going to break these goals down and draw bubbles. So you're going to feel like you're in 3rd grade for a minute, but it works. And you know what I found? The power of writing it down. Y'all, you can print all stuff offline all day long, but I found that I don't use it if I just print it off. But if we take our precious time and we write this out, how much more likely are you going to be to actually use it? I mean, I know I am. I took 20 minutes to write this out or something. Not really 20 minutes, but the more you do it, the faster you get. But now we're going to write down like 10 team members. Like, let's just say that's hers. Well, it says it on her paper. That actually isn't. Sorry. And then we're going to just draw 10 bubbles, okay? Like, just going across right here. Y'all see what I'm doing? Like, just draw you 10 bubbles across. I'll let you finish drawing your bubbles. Just draw 10 bubbles across underneath that. So this month, each time you get a new team member, you're going to X a bubble off, okay? Once you have that bubbled out, now we're going to take your next one. So we're just taking, this is like our summary up here at the top. Y'all see what I'm saying? That's like your summary, but now we're actually going to break it down. And then, like, let's just say now we're going to do shares. So now we're going to write 30 shares. And then I always do rows of 10. So I do 10 across, and I write like 1, 2, 3 out beside it. Like like right here on your paper, write like 1 on this line, 2 on this line, 3 on this line, 1, 2, 3. And then do 10 on each line. So that'll equal 30. So it'll be 3 rows of 10. And then you just X those off as you hold those share appointments, okay? And you're going to do this with each one. Now, when we get to the 2,000, okay, because I don't want you drawing 2,000 circles or whatever that comes to. That would be a lot. So I do those, my circles equal $100 each, okay? So I still do rows of 10, but they're just going to equal $100 each. So you're just going to have two, like if your goal is 2,000, you're going to have 2 rows of 10 because each of those circles will equal $100. So as you sell $100, then you get to mark one off.
And that's up
Under your, like, sales, yeah. So you probably wrote your sales up here or whatever, but you're going to do your sales, and then whatever, so let's say it's 2,000, you're going to write 1 right here, 2 right here, and do 10 circles across, and each circle counts as $100. And then we'll, of course, break down our faces, just write 20 faces, do your circles. Yeah, they'll be $100 each. So you have 20 circles. And you can tweak it to, you know, it don't have to be exactly in the order I do or whatever, you know. But these are the goals you sort of want to set for your business each month. Now, and then you'll just break down each one of them. And so as you go throughout the month, you're going to mark these things off. Now, at the end of the month, you're going to go back, and I always write, like, let's say, at the bottom or out beside it or whatever, I just write the word actual and do a little line, and then I write, like, how many I actually did, like the number, like at the end of the month. So let's say her goal was 2,000 in sales. She only sold 1,800, so she only has 18 circles marked off. well, I'm going to write down what her actual sales was at the end of that month, which was $1,800, just down here at the bottom. So that way I can look and like compare notes. So let's say she only sold that $1,800, but she only did 15 faces. Well, then I can look and say, okay, well, you know, I didn't reach my goal because I didn't have enough faces or whatever. So then you can also go back and you can learn from, okay, what can I amp up more? Like, what did I not do enough of? That kind of thing. The fun part about it is, too, also, like, let's say 3 months down the road, you're like, ooh, I had a really rockin' April. But here we are in July, and I'm like, whew, I haven't, like, it's not going the same. Like, something's different, I'm not making as much money. Like, then you can pull, I keep it all in the same notebook. I can flip back to April and say, okay, well, what did I do in this month that I'm not doing right now? So then you can compare notes, and you can maybe see, well, I did more faces in April than I'm doing right now, or I did more shares in April than I'm doing right now. And so that's why I had those results in April that I'm not seeing right now. So then you can go back and forth and compare, okay? But it is so important to break down your goals, and I promise your goals will grow. Like, as you do this, you'll see you achieving your goals more, and then your goals will get bigger and bigger and bigger because you're accomplishing that, and then you'll be like, well, I can set mine a little bit higher. Like, I'm doing this, so I can set it higher because I'm already surpassing that which I had originally set, that kind of thing, like as the months go on. So the most important thing about, like, really, I don't know what your sales will be for, like, if you want to be in DIQ. If you want to be in DIQ, you at least need to be doing 30 faces. At least. Okay? Don't think you're going to do 15 faces and get in DIQ by the end of this month. That's not happening. I'm just being real. But 30 faces for sure. And have that weekly focus of, like, okay, if my goal is 30 faces, well, how many faces do I need to do this week? Sort of like what Beth talked about. Because you want to break stuff down. If you're just looking at the big, huge picture and not breaking it down, that's when it becomes scary. To me, I have to break stuff down because I will be scared bejesus if I don't know, okay, what can I do today, this week, to get me closer to where I want to be versus just looking at the whole big elephant. Like, when we were earning our Cadillac, if I would have looked at what seemed like the impossible, because y'all, I will tell you, it seemed like the impossible. But God is good. God is so good. And at the last minute, do not give up on your goal. Because at the last minute, you may still need 15 faces last week of the month. But guess what? I know women have it embedded in them to get stuff done. And we are find a way, make a way. And you will find a way, make a way. If you want to. And if you have that desire in your heart and you're willing, then it will happen. When you are a find a way, make a way kind of woman. Because I know that you all are, especially if you're a mama. Okay? Because if you're a mama, and let's just say something happens to your kid or whatever, like, you're going to find a way, make a way to make whatever it is right that is going wrong for them. So why not for your Mary Kay business? You have what it takes to be wherever you want to be. And I know that you can all do it. And believe in yourself, okay? That so many women just think, oh, I'm not worthy of that, or don't believe in themselves. Like, I mean, there's times I've even thought those things, like, oh my gosh, I just don't know if I'm up to par with everybody else to be in that position or whatever. Like, I was a hot mess when I started this business. I would have never seen myself in this suit. But anybody can be. I mean, honestly. They probably remember seeing me. I was just a hot mess. I didn't even know what was what. Sarah Catherine didn't even bring her starter kit to her kickoff party. Like, you can be a director. I said, where's your starter kit? And she's like, oh my gosh, I left that at my house. Was I supposed to bring that?
Oh, I need that?
She had her inventory though, so we made it do out of my stuff and her inventory. I was like, okay, well, how about let's just take this out of your inventory. When you get home, you take what's in your starter kit and put it back right there. But anyways, like, y'all, you don't have to be perfect to achieve whatever you want to be. It's just really the only thing you have to have is just the willingness. Just the desire and the willingness. And when you have this right here and this right here both aligned together, like when you have your mind made up and your heart is just like, I will do whatever it takes, then you will accomplish whatever you want to accomplish. Okay? And I'm excited to see where you are. I'm not going to ask you all your goals, but if you want to share them with me, I would love to see them. And just so I can cheer you on, and I love seeing women, like, be at one place. like right now, and then by the end of June 30th, just seeing what they've accomplished. That is the biggest joy. Even if I'm their sales director or not, like I love seeing women grow because it's so great. And I've seen women transpire into directors like that just start off as a brand new consultant and they're like scared to death, but then they do it. And I love seeing that. I love getting to see women grow because you know what? I know at the end of the day that the blessing it is to you and your family is just like overwhelming. It's so good. So, anyways, and the last thing I wanted to share with y'all is these sheets are actually on Sarah Catherine's website. They aren't on mine, but they're super great. And I don't really remember. I was playing with that yesterday, but it has actually like a breakdown sheet of how many, like really, if your goal's either like being a star, a red jacket, being in a car, or like being the DIQ or a director, it's on her website. So can you give them your website name?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's Sarah Catherine.
Sarah Catherine MK. Is it at
No, it's I know what it is. Sarah Catherine, SARAH.
Yeah. KATHRYN. KATHRYN.
MK. As in Mary Kay.
Yeah.
Dot Wix.
That's WIX.
WIX.com
/ proven.
/ proven.
This way slash.
Well, y'all figured it out.
That way slash.
I thought it was back.
That way slash.
Which way is it?
Oh, I think it's back.
Like if you're staring at it, it's because
I mean, you can jot it up there on the board.
Yeah.
Go to your right.
Oh. Anyways, if you'll go on there, it's under.
She said proven.
Let me think of where it's
Proven.
under.
PROVEN.
It's on there somewhere. Just search for a minute because I don't remember which. But it's great sheets. Like I love them, and they are on there. And it may either be under Training Center.
It's under tracking.
Tracking. That's where it is. I was trying to remember what tab there was to pick from.
Oh.
Because I've only seen her website one time. So, but look under tracking. Those sheets are on there. So if you sort of need a guideline of how many faces that you need to be doing, that kind of thing, still do this. This is powerful, okay? But if you're sort of like, okay, I don't really know how many faces I need to be doing to get to where I want to be, then you can look at those sheets and then write that down on your paper. You see what I'm saying? So look at tracking on there on her website. She's going to put it up there. But before we wrap up,
I have one quick question.
yeah, I was going to ask if y'all had any questions or something you just wanted to know more about. Okay.
On the bubble for your money, say for instance, if you're doing on the go and it's $100 sale, do you add that in here, or is it only the money that you make?
No, it's any money that you make this month. Yeah.
Okay, that's it.
Any money that you, because that's just your goal for your sales this month. Whether it's reorders, whether it's on the go stuff, it all counts towards that. Now your faces, like if somebody reorders, that's not going to count as a face, but yeah. Okay.
Gotcha.
Does anybody else have any questions or? Like, I would love to hear y'all's feedback about this system that I shared with y'all. Like, do you love it?
I love it.
Okay. Did you already know how to do this?
No.
Okay. I actually learned that from Leah Carter, your national. This is what she teaches, and y'all, that's why she moves so fast, and her directors are moving so fast, and the consultants in their national area are moving so fast because they're using this tracking system. And I will say that I just put this tracking system in place in my business this past June when she taught it to us, or July, somewhere in that area. And then we earned our first Cadillac by the end of September.
Awesome.
I mean, honestly, and this is something that I taught Sarah Catherine as soon as she started, and that's how she moved so fast, was doing this tracking. So I've seen the results that this brings, and so that's why I share it with you and truly encourage you to use it, because it does. Now, you can't just like make the tracking sheet, but you have to do the work, but you know what I mean.
I was about to say, that was a pretty big key. I hope y'all caught that. She
The
said,
work.
I taught Sarah Catherine how to do this, and she did it.
Yeah, she did the work, but it helped her. And y'all, it's fun. I don't even feel like I work. Like, honestly, if you think about it, at the end of the day, like, it is so much fun. We just get to go around and push, pamper women until something happens. I mean, honestly, y'all, I'd rather be doing this any day of the week than be answering those phones like I used to at the hospital, getting yelled at, okay? Now, that was work. That was mental work. Like, that was pressure. But I just want you to think about how much fun it is. It's almost like doing an extracurricular activity and get paid for it. Who's up for that?
Yeah.
I mean, awesome. I love it. And the girls, all the friends you get to meet and the girlfriend time, like, girl, we don't even have to pay to be in a sorority, okay? We got Mary Kay. So, anyways, but I truly hope that y'all took something great away from today, and I pray that you go and implement it in your business, your life, whatever that might be, and have a powerful next 3 months, finishing April, May, and June of this seminar year, because you're going to achieve something great, and I know it. So,
Awesome. Y'all give me